Hello everyone, this work is about bringing flexible and efficient memory protection to Intel SGX. Intel SGX is a hardware trusted execution environment. It provides a secure region, namely enclave, to protect the internal loaded code and data. It has been used in many occasions to enhance application security. Recently, the research about SGX focused on two types. First, use SGX to protect some critical things in the application. Second, how to protect or attack SGX program itself. Let's see two examples. SGX cryptor uses SGX to protect program by unpacking the packet in enclave. It relies on the OSP table to remove readable permission of unpacked code. However, it is incompatible with SGX security model. Another example is SGX Shield. It randomizes the SGX code to protect SGX program itself. After the randomization, it uses software-based DEP to create a non-readable and readable boundary. Its implementation visited the R15 register, and the boundary using the January register can be shifted. Both of these two types require flexible and securely enforcing memory page permissions. Unfortunately, in current SGX, this feature is missing. There are two main reasons. First, Intel provides very limited hardware support to prevent the untrusted OS from changing the permission to facilitate attacks at runtime. Second, the permission of SGX are statically decided by the compiler due to the signature and verification mechanism. To provide a flexible memory protection to SGX, we should overcome two challenges. First, SGX currently does not have a hardware support for flexible memory permission enforcement. Although it's possible to implement the enforcement with a software-based solution, the runtime performance overhead can be significant. Second, the security model of SGX assumes that the privileged softwares are untrusted. We cannot simply ask the OS or hardware to change the memory permission. In addition, SGX programs might be vulnerable and thus subject to variety of attacks. In this work, we design a hardware-assisted solution to provide memory protection with low performance overhead. Then, we design an enforcement integrity as a firewall to protect our memory enforcement. We call our solution as MPTEE. This figure is its design. It mainly includes two parts. First is memory permission enforcement, which is used to prevent the invalid access, and the second is enforcement integrity, which is used to prevent the attack of permission enforcement. I will introduce each part one by one. The core of memory performance enforcement is elastic cross-region bound check, namely CRBC. Its basic idea is to use hardware-assisted technique, MPX, to bound check memory access inside the enclave. We give a simple introduction to MPX. Intel MPX is a hardware-assisted solution to protect against memory safety violations. It provides new instructions and 4 dedicated bound registers. This figure shows a simple usage. The upper bound and the lower bound of BND0 register have marked a region. BNDCU and BNDCL are used to check the function address. If you want to call a function which is not in this region, it will be prevented by bound check instructions. MPS also provides a bound table similar to a two-level page table structure to extend the number of bounds. Due to the scarcity of bound registers, a typical use of MPX is to use a bound table to store a large number of bounds for objects. However, it will cause a significant performance overhead. We show an example to explain the problem. This figure is a memory layout of a traditional Linux program. It includes the code, data, and dynamic libraries. And each permission region is not continuous. We need to maintain multiple region information, like region 0, region 1, and so on. So if we use bound MPX to protect memory access, it needs to use bound table to maintain the information. and the register loads and stores bound info to the memory, it imposes significant performance overhead. So how can we only use limited number of bound registers to protect multiple memory region access is a challenge. Fortunately, we have a key observation that the same permission memory range is continuous in enclave because enclave program does not support linking dynamic libraries. All required libraries must be statically linked in the target enclave program. So the memory layout of enclave program has changed. This figure is the memory layout of SGX program. Its executable, readable, and readable regions are continuous. But in this layout, if you want to change the permission at runtime, it will cause these regions are non-continuous, which cause the number of registers we need to exceed the number of MPX registers. For example, after you unpack or randomize the code, you want to remove the readable permission, but it will split the readable region, which causes the number of regions changing from 3 to 5. So the MPX registers are not enough. In this situation, we design a new memory layout. We convert the original memory layout to the new layout. This new layout constructs multiple different permission regions that employs a crossover design of bound registers. We can use 3 MPX registers to mark multiple regions. I use braces to mark each region. Each region is composed by a up bound and a lower bound. For example, a non-permission region is from image base to lower bound of BND0 register. An executable region is from lower bound of BND0 to lower bound of BND2. The table shows the bound of each region described by bound registers. Based on this design, we only use 3 registers to offer 6 different permission regions. In this new layout, it can still keep continuous after you change the permission at runtime. Let's take the just-in-time code generated as an example. First, the JIT program uses some RWX memory to store generated code fragment 0. When it needs to remove the double permission, we just reduce the upper bound of readable region. When JIT continues to generate more code, it can continue to shrink the upper bound. This way, we implement a permission change from RWX to RX by adjusting the bound. Of course, when you free this memory, you can just increase the upper bound. CRBC also need to consider how to initialize and update the bounds, how to use the permission enforcement with CRBC. You can see these details in our paper. In the design of CRBC, we only use 3 registers to provide 6 different permission regions. It allows a flexible change of range of memory regions at runtime. In this design, as we do not use the MPX bound table, we can avoid the significant performance overhead. Although the permission enforcement has realized the memory permission change at runtime, but the mechanism can be attacked itself. The first is the check skipping attack, which means the control flow attacks can bypass and bound check and abuse the permission control. For example, the unaligned call instruction can be called to bypass the bound check. Second is bound manipulating the attacks, which means the data flow attacks can manipulate bounds. The BND-MK instruction is called malicious to modify the bound registers, which cause the memory protection fail. To protect the permission enforcement under the strong adversary, we combine control data integrity with memory isolation to protect the permission enforcement. Control data integrity prevents attackers from exploiting unintended instructions to bypass the bound checks. Its idea is to ensure the integrity of the return address and the function pointers. Memory isolation protects all the code and data related to the permission enforcement by saving them in an isolated memory region. Our enforcement integrity shares a similar significant level idea as traditional control flow integrity and isolation techniques such as CPI and Redditor. In the control data integrity part, we employ a trampoline table to protect pointers for indirect calls and jumps. All indirect targets are collected and stored to a table. Then we assign the offset to the original pointers. In this way, the indirect calls are limited to the functions in the trampoline table. The unaligned calls can be eliminated for the return address. We employ the safe stack to protect it. In memory isolation part, we recursively collect the set of sensitive data using type-based static analysis. Sensitive data may have a data flow to the bound register value. We put the sensitive data trampoline table return address into a safe region. We reuse the non-permission region offered by CRBC as the safe region for free. This region can only be accessed by our replaced instructions. We evaluate MPTEE. This shows use hardware, platform, and software environments. In the macro benchmark, we choose SQLite and memory cache D. In SQLite, its average overhead is about 6.6%. In memory cache D, the average overhead is 2.2%. They both have low performance overhead. We use NBench as a macro benchmark to evaluate MPTEE. We also give some cases with using MPTEE like SGX and SGX shard. You can get more details in our paper. To conclude, MPTEE is able to flexibly and efficiently enforce memory permission protection for SGX. In MPTEE, we propose an elastic cross-region bound check. It uses only 3 bound registers but offers 6 different memory permission regions. We also propose an efficient enforcement integrity technique to prevent attacks from bypassing or abusing MPTEE. Based on our layout, we can support the memory isolation with no additional overhead. This is my talk. Thanks.